I sat down to watch The Exorcist Believer yesterday because it came to Prime Video and I swore that I was never going to pay money to watch it. And I'm glad I kept that promise because, oh my god, so many things wrong with this movie. So many things wrong. And by the way, spoilers. Just so you know, there will be spoilers in this. So if you want to actually watch this movie, don't watch this. But if you don't care, go ahead and keep watching, because this movie was directed by some guy named David Morgan Green, and I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him, and he also had a hand in writing the screenplay. And I I don't think he knows what identity he has as a director. I think he's watched a bunch of horror movies by a bunch of really good directors that we all know and love. And he's like, I'm going to take elements from those movies and I'm going to smash them all together into my movie and hope to Christ it makes a good movie. Like, that's how I felt when I was watching this. I felt like this movie didn't know that it was part of the Exorcist franchise, because it was trying to be The Exorcist, and it was trying to be Evil Dead, and it was trying to be The Conjuring. And I was like, but why? You have a wealth of resources to go off of if you're being the Exorcist franchise. You've got the first movie. You've sadly got The Heretic, which we all like to pretend doesn't exist. Then you've got Exorcist 3, which was another great movie. Then you've got the travesty that was Exorcist the beginning, but it's still canon. And we even saw Father Maddox come back. Or I think it's Father Maddox is a repeat character. His name sounds familiar. But there was no, like, actual one thing that made me go, yes, this is an Exorcist film. Because there were, like, callbacks to the original. Like, in one scene after this movie centers around a single father whose wife dies in, I'm guessing, the 2010 earthquake in Haiti. And the father has to make a choice because she's pregnant at the time and they can't save her and the baby. So he has to make a choice, and we don't actually see what choice he makes at the beginning of the film. We just see the doctor saying, you have to make a choice. But one of the scenes after the daughter disappears for a few days, and she disappears in the woods because she and her best friend are doing some weird seance stuff, because she is obsessed with the memory of her mom, talking to her mom, because her dad never hid it from her that her mom died, and he has mementos from his wife, and like it's an open subject between them. But one of the scenes after she's back and she's clearly, there's something wrong with her, is a bathtub scene, just like we have with Reagan. Because the father thinks she's wetted her bed or something, and he draws her a bath. Now, she's a teenager instead of prepubescent. I think she's like 15 or 16, something like that. But this is a very jarring movie. Like, the single father, the actor playing the single father, really didn't do a very good job of portraying that need to blend the mother-father role into one, as a single parent. He was just like, one scene, I'm a dad, and the next scene, I'm a tender mom figure. And it was like, oh, okay. All right. I don't know what character you have. You're very, like, multiplicitous. It's weird. Then we have the fact that this movie's only 100 minutes long. Most Exorcist installments are at least 2 hours, because they need that build up. They need that brooding, something is wrong, but we don't know what it is, build up. And this movie was like, here's a husband and wife. Here's the wife is pregnant. Oh God, the wife is dead. Oh look, now the daughter is a teenager. Okay, now the daughter's gone for 3 days. Okay, now they're back. And now there's something wrong within like the first 20 minutes of the movie. And it was like, whoa, like Jesus, like we had so much exposition in the other, even the bad Exorcist movies. We had so much more exposition. It was really kind of hard to care about the characters. They were just there. Like, they had superficial characteristics, but they weren't developed. It was just like, this is a single dad. This is his daughter. This is his daughter's friend. The daughter and her friend get into mischief together. These are the friend's parents. They are religious folk. You know, it was very, very superficial. And here now we get to my biggest problem with this movie. This movie, we all know that the Exorcist franchise is centered around Catholicism, and to a bit of a greater extent, the Mesopotamian demons. Now, this movie has shoehorned like 50 different and I'm being hyperbolic here, but we've got Haitian, like Afro-Caribbean religions at the beginning and throughout the exorcism. We've got kind of like the New Age Catholicism where you're not baptized till you're a teenager. I think, is that like Episcopalian or something like that? Then you've got fucking Chris McNeil, reprised by Ellen Burstyn, the actual original Chris McNeil, who has become a demonologist after Reagan's possession, and apparently has studied every culture's version of exorcism, and now theorizes that exorcism is not, it's about community, and you can't have a successful exorcism if you don't have faith in your community as well as faith in your God. So I'm sitting here going, okay, so exorcism is now like kumbaya, we all hold hands and sit around and sing, like what is this? And at one point, and this is what I'm talking about, there are so many opportunities for there to have been psychological buildup here. At one point, we have Chris McNeil in the house of the friend of the main, like the other possessed girl, because there are two possessed girls in this. There's Angela, who's the daughter of the single dad. There's Catherine, who's her friend. And we have Chris McNeil, who's in the bedroom of Catherine after she's possessed. And we go straight like Evil Dead possession movie. Chris gets stabbed in the eyes with a crucifix. We have a horrible attempt at rehashing the scene with Burke Dennings where he calls Reagan a cunting daughter. We have that, and it's very Evil Dead-esque, and it doesn't feel like it's an Exorcist film. What should have happened was the demon should have... I still would have kept the stabbing of the eyes in. Because I think it's funny that the demonologist doesn't get to be in the exorcism. And I would have had the demon say something like, "You fool. You think exorcism by a community will work? It takes priests with the backing of the church and all the saints. Many months it's taken them to deal with me. It's taken tolls on their souls, on their lives. And they're sanctioned by God. And you think that you with your community can take me on? Like, I would have gone for that. I would have gone for the psychological angle. You know, the way that The Exorcist is supposed to be. But there was none of that. There was no psychology. At another point in the movie, during the exorcism, we have both possessed girls basically saying, you have to choose one of us to live and one of us to die if this exorcism is going to work. This is obviously a trick by the devil to cause as much suffering as you can. And Angela's dad, the single dad, Victor, is smart enough to say, I won't choose. He stares his possessed daughter in the eyes and he goes, I won't choose. I won't choose. And later on, about 10 minutes later, Catherine's father comes running into the room because he's a weak ass wimp and can barely take part in any of this exorcism. He keeps pussying out and running away. But he comes in and he goes, I choose you, Catherine. And it's so obvious that after he says that, she's gonna die. Like, it's so fucking obvious. Like, the movie doesn't give you any, like, hope that, or any red herring. Like, it's so obvious. It's like, oh, well, now she's fucked. Like, you know, like, and even the people in the movie are, like, screaming at the father, right? Like, it was just bad. It was so confusing and, like, so full of today's woke bullshit. Like, this whole, like, exorcism has a multicultural angle to it, and, like, we have to believe in each other to get this done. Like, and I get that every religion has its demons and has its rituals, right? But this franchise was Catholicism centered. And that's never changed up until this movie, where now we've got Haitian voodoo, we've got, like, Wicca shit, we've got black candle, like, we've got, like, paganistic Wicca, like, it was everything. They were pulling out all the stops. They were, like, literally conducting a multicultural exorcism that the church didn't sanction, by the way. The church was like, no, we think these girls would be best helped psychiatrically. And Father Maddox basically just sits in his car, you know, parked outside this house where the exorcism is taking place. And then he comes bursting in at the end to save the nurse who wanted to be a nun 40 years ago but didn't. And was now like, I can be an exorcist. Go, girl boss. It was like, oh my God. And another thing. They ask Chris McNeil why she wasn't allowed to attend Reagan's exorcism. And they had her say, in my opinion, it's because I wasn't a member of their damn patriarchy. She was an atheist. She had no other option but to go to a priest. She barely believed what she was seeing with her own eyes. There was no reason for her to attend the exorcism. And there was no writing anywhere in the original film that said anything like, you're a woman, you can't be in here. It was, it's safer for you and better for the exorcism if you're not in there. And the writers had her say that line. Like, and I couldn't take this movie seriously. Like, it was so badly directed and so badly written and so badly paced. And the demons were not scary and not psychologically, like, like intelligent at all. They were just your basic 2000s possession movie demon. And it was boring. And I really do not recommend anybody watch this movie. I really don't. I think the only psychological aspect was the demon trying to tell Chris that Reagan was dead, because Chris wrote a book on Reagan's possession in the movie, and Reagan went into hiding and basically never forgave her mother for it, which, yeah. But at the end of the movie, Reagan comes to Chris's hospital room, and it sounds like it's Linda Blair. It actually, I didn't go through the credits, but the voice does sound like they got Linda Blair to show up and go, "Hi, Mom." That's the only line. She goes, "Hi, Mom," and gives her a hug. So yeah, I would say out of 10, I would give this movie maybe a 2. Because it had like 1 or 2 aspects that I was like, oh, that's interesting. But other than, and also because it was in described video, I'll give it a 2 out of 10 because it was in described video. That's it. That's why. Oh Lord, what a horrible movie. That was 100 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to suggest a movie for me to review, please do so. And I will see you in the next one.